Every time The Economist releases a cover, the world pays attention. Some say these illustrations hide messages about the future, small clues about what might be coming next. Politics, war, economy, technology. And the cover for 2026 is no different. A globe filled with symbols, chaos, and contrasting colors, red and blue, two forces that seem opposite, yet connected. What could this image be trying to tell us? Let's take a closer look. In the lower right corner, one detail stands out. A soccer player, dressed in red, kicking what appears to be the Earth itself. It's almost certainly a reference to the 2026 World Cup, which will be hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So, that seems to be the least mysterious part of this cover. At the center, there's a blue cake with the number 250 on it, a clear reference to the 250th anniversary of the United States independence, to be celebrated on July 4th, 2026. But the context is strange. This cake doesn't look like a celebration. Above it, a raised fist, bound by chains, surrounded by missiles and rockets. What should symbolize American freedom, here looks chained to its own power. Since the dollar lost its gold backing, many say its true foundation has become fear, military power, and global dominance. Perhaps the illustrator turned this anniversary into a warning that American independence is now bound to its own strength. As Machiavelli once said, it is better to be feared than loved. And maybe that's exactly what keeps the empire standing. Below the cake, another disturbing symbol appears, a red brain connected by wires to a video game controller. What does it mean? Is it the human mind playing with artificial intelligence? Or the opposite, technology controlling human thought? In a world where emotions are measured, desires predicted, and every click has a price tag, who's really in control? Maybe this cover is saying what many already suspect. The future won't be decided by wars, but by algorithms. On both sides of the globe, two war tanks dominate the scene. One on the left, one on the right. The message feels clear, two major conflicts unfolding in different parts of the planet. On the right, the tank seems connected to a familiar figure, possibly Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, hinting at the continuation of the war in Eastern Europe on the left. The other tank appears beside three faces resembling Lula, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin. We can't say for sure, but the resemblance is striking. If that's the case, maybe the artist is showing another kind of war. Not just military, but one of narratives and influence. The US criticizing Brazil for censorship and restrictions on free speech. Russia and China tightening their alliance as the West reacts. Could this be the new world divide between those who control information and those who control power? Just above, on the left, there's a cargo ship loaded with containers. But one of them hides a cannon pointing directly toward the center, aimed straight at the 250-year cake. It likely represents the growing trade war of recent years, especially between China and the United States. Products, technology, microchips, all turned into silent weapons. Above the ship, a satellite emits a red beam of light, as if it's scanning, tracking, or attacking. Maybe the illustrator is saying that modern wars aren't won with bombs, but with data, surveillance, and information control, a world where each container, each chip, and each byte holds more value than a missile. At the center of the image, two crossed swords appear before a rising graph. On one side, three figures resembling Lula, Xi, and Putin. On the other, a man in a suit and a red cap, Donald Trump. The swords mark the clash between forces, East versus West, progressivism versus conservatism, ideology versus economic power. But one detail stands out. Trump is alone, while the other side shows alliances that could symbolize the US's growing political isolation in some arenas, or perhaps a new kind of modern Cold War, where battles are fought not for territory, but for influence. In the end, it's a struggle between those who make the rules and those who choose to break them. On the left side, a small wooden boat crosses a stretch of sea. Inside, two figures, one of them holding an ancient vessel, an amphora, maybe, a symbol often used in ancient cultures to store wine, oil, or knowledge by its appearance. Many might associate the figure with something Arab or Muslim. This opens many interpretations. It could represent migration, the ongoing movement of people between continents, or maybe it symbolizes the transport of doctrines, ideas, and beliefs, as if the old world were still carrying its culture across the oceans, trying to survive the new. In a map filled with machines, tanks, and wars, this small boat stands out as the opposite, the fragility of human tradition in the face of technological advance. Throughout the illustration, several robots appear in different positions. One of them clearly resembles the Tesla Optimus model, which Elon Musk has presented as the worker of the future. It seems to be making a delivery, as if humanity had already outsourced its simplest tasks to machines. But the others are different. One is larger, another shaped like a mechanical animal, and two are positioned next to a small tank, suggesting that not all were built to serve. Some may have been built to fight. This mix of domestic and military robots is symbolic. The line between technology and destruction is thinner than ever. And maybe the real question isn't what machines can do, but who will control them. Scattered all across the image are dozens of pills and syringes, tiny but visible in every corner of the map. At first glance, they seem to represent the pandemic and the power the pharmaceutical industry has gained in recent years. But their placement, surrounding the entire globe, suggests something bigger. Perhaps a symbol of how humanity has become dependent on chemistry and technology to sustain its rhythm, sanity, and survival. Some interpret this as a warning of another global health crisis, a cycle that might repeat itself. Another nearly hidden detail: blue papers scattered throughout the image. At first glance, they look like sheets of paper, but they're everywhere, near leaders, tanks, robots, and factories. Many believe they represent money bills, and that the blue color was chosen simply to fit the palette of the cover. If that's true, the meaning is clear. Money still runs everything. It funds wars, buys narratives, sustains regimes, and drives innovation. But there's another interpretation. Maybe these papers represent contracts, treaties, or secret documents. Because in today's world, power is rarely won with weapons. It's signed on paper, a silent war, fought through numbers, deals, and signatures. Along the edges of the image, several red drones can be seen, small but present in every direction, as if they're circling the entire world. Each drone is attached to thin wires, like invisible connections of remote control. And that's where the mystery begins. Who's really controlling them? Are they weapons, surveillance tools, or a metaphor for the constant monitoring we now live under? Today, everything is traceable. Location, voice, image, behavior, even predictive thoughts. These wires might symbolize that very idea. Humanity connected by invisible cables, where few observe, and many are observed. The world no longer needs walls, only data, and just below these drones lies another subtle detail: melting ice. Maybe a reminder that while the planet is being watched, so the planet itself is reacting. A clear reference to the climate crisis, but also a metaphor for our era. The ice is melting slowly, just like the stability of the world we thought we knew. At the bottom of the image, several figures are playing sports. Two boxers, a runner, a skier, and a man throwing a spear. At first glance, they look like references to the sporting events of 2026, like the World Cup or other international competitions, but the message might go deeper. In a planet divided by power, ideology, and markets, everything has become a competition. Each country fights for first place, each company for another record, each person for relevance, and so the entire world becomes an arena. A game without referees where winning might cost far more than losing. And among all these elements, one symbol stands out. Wine glasses scattered around the globe, their red liquid swaying on the verge of spilling. Maybe they represent global instability. Some might see them as a warning of real quakes, earthquakes, others of economic or social tremors. Either way, the message seems clear. The glass is full and about to overflow. After looking closely at every detail, it's impossible not to wonder, what is the Economist really saying with all this? Is it just a collage of expected events? Or a coded message about what's to come? Tanks, leaders, robots, pills, drones, ice, papers, and glasses. Each symbol tells a story, but together they form something far more unsettling. A planet divided, monitored, held together by technology, and on the brink of something no one can quite define. Maybe the truth isn't in a single symbol, but in all of them combined. And if there's a hidden message here, maybe it's this: the future has already begun. We just haven't noticed. Now it's your turn. What do you see in this cover? Share your interpretation in the comments, because maybe together we can discover what's really happening. Subscribe if you also feel that something is coming.